check my email and I decide to answer later. Another cup of coffee and I drag myself to work. My life is grounded in a firm routine of coffee, sleep, and work. I am not boring, I just stick to what I know.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Rochelle's Creations, where I'm going to show you how to make very tasty and satisfying vegan dishes. So today I'm going to show you how to make vegan apricot bars. Apricot? I don't know, whatever. Okay, let's get started. So, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need half a bag of apricots. This bag is 1 pound, so I guess half a pound of apricots, I don't know. And you're going to need about 8 medjidool dates. Yep. You need a pinch of cinnamon, a little bit of coconut oil. You're going to need about 1/3 cup of shredded unsweetened coconut, about 1/2 cup plus rolled oats, and you're going to need about 1/2 cup of walnuts. And if you don't want to use rolled oats, you could use mulberries, dried mulberries, if you wanted to make this like completely raw or whatever, but I like the way it turns out with oats personally. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the crust on the bottom of the apricot bars by mashing up these dates and adding in other things. So I'll fast forward a little bit so you don't have to watch me mashing. Okay, so I have now mashed up the dates. And I am going to add the oats. Just kind of, I'm using my hands because it's a lot easier. Just kind of mash that up. Okie. And once it's pretty much mashed, it doesn't have to be completely because we're still going to add a couple of things. We're going to add a couple tablespoons of coconut oil, but first I'm going to wash my hands off a little bit. Okay, I'm back. So, grab, it's a little hard, some of this coconut oil. I'm using about a tablespoon to start with. You don't have to put coconut oil, but I think it enhances the flavor quite nicely. Also, if you have almond flour on hand, you can use almond flour instead of oats, and it makes it amazing, like super good. I really like it with almond flour, but I actually don't have any right now, but you know, whatever. Okay, so just kind of mash this. It's going to take a little bit to start mashing it. Make sure that all of the coconut oil and the oats and the dates are nice and combined. It's a little bit harder because the coconut oil is solidified, you know, but it comes together eventually. When it starts to come together, it'll look kind of like a dough, which it should look like a dough. Like, kind of a close up here, like that. Okay. And you can go ahead and add your cinnamon, which I can't open because I have date hands here. Just, you know, use your judgment. If you don't like cinnamon, you don't have to use cinnamon, but I love cinnamon. Put it on pretty much everything. Then you're going to add 1/2 of the coconut. And I will put the recipe in the description below so that you can make this properly, or, you know, tweak it to how you like. So now we have a coconutty, datey dough thing going on here, and it's pretty awesome. sweet. So once it's all pretty uniform, you're going to take an oblong pan, probably, I don't know how big this pan is, maybe 6 by 10, around there, I don't know. Not too big of a pan if you're using this recipe exactly, but it's better to have a little bit too small of a pan than too big of a pan, because you don't want to run out of space for the bars. Okay, and you're just going to plop all of the dough into the little pan thing here. And then you're going to press it down. Just keep pressing it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but pretty much all I'm doing is pressing the crust into the pan. And I'll show you once it's done. This pan is probably a little bit too small, but it's okay for now. Oh yeah, and make sure you save a little bit of the crust, maybe about like a handful of it. Put it off to the side. And once you finish pressing, sorry, my face wasn't in the shot. Once you finish pressing the crust in, we're gonna make the apricot mix. Apricot. I don't even know how I originally said it because I'm so confused. Do you guys say apricot or apricot? I guess it depends on what part of the country you live in, or what country you live in, or whatever. I don't know. I think I say apricot. You know, I'm not really sure. Maybe I don't say apricot. Maybe I say apricot. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Okay. I just want to make sure that it's nice and firm in here, like that. Make sure it's evenly distributed, and it should be like pretty wet and stuff, so you shouldn't have too much of a hard time putting it in the pan. Okay, so now it's like that. It won't come out. It's pretty much stuck there because of the dates and all of their stickiness. Okay, so also I'm going to crush a couple of walnuts on top of the crust, which usually I put the walnuts in the crust, but I kind of forgot, but well, so just kind of crush those and put them in the crust. And you don't have to put walnuts in if you really don't want them, or if you're allergic to walnuts or nuts, like a lot of people are these days, and well, they always have been, but I don't know, I gotta stop blabbling on like this, I'm sorry. Give me a break. Okay, so putting in some walnuts. Doo-dee-doo. Doo-dee-doo. Okay, and now I will make the apricot mixture. And I have finished mashing the apricots. I didn't fully mash them because I like them a little bit chunky still, but if you want to, you can even put them in the blender and get them super, super like moist and chewy and stuff. So once you have the apricots exactly how you want them, put them over your crust in the pan. Even like a little brownie pan would work good for this too. By the way, so it's kind of like this. Okay. I'm not sure how clear the visual was, but then you can just take like a fork and mash down on the apricots so that it's nice and even over the crust. Sorry about that. My hair is like all over the screen here. You can use your hands for this too. I'm just going to use my hands for this because, yeah. And even if you didn't want to like mash them all the way, you don't have to mash them all the way if you don't want to. If you'd rather have them whole, that's totally fine. You know, it's your adaptation. of the recipe. And once you have done that, and they are nice and firm and stuck in the pan on top of the crust, then you are almost done. It's gonna look like that. Okay. Now, on top of that, we're gonna take the mixture that we saved from the crust. We're gonna crumble it on top, like so. Doesn't have to be even at all. It looks more like a crumble. And this is a no-bake recipe if you didn't figure that out already. Okay. Once you have that on there, kind of even, top it with a little extra coconut. That's how I like it. And then put a couple of walnuts on there for garnish. In this pan, it looks like it's going to make about 6 bars. And just a walnut to garnish, like I have been. So you can top it with more chopped walnuts if you like, which I might do. Just kind of put it, crinkle it in your hand and sprinkle it on top. Press down. And use your own discretion, like if you think it needs more walnuts or more coconut or more topping or whatever, you can do that. So then you're just going to press down like that. Bum, bum. Bum, bum. Okie dokie. So I'm going to cut these and I'll try a bit for you. Okay, so I cut the apricot bars into little squares, and this is what they look like in the end. I put a picture of this a really long time ago on my Tumblr, if anybody noticed. But yeah, I'll try a bite for you guys now. Good, as always. You can really taste the apricots, but you can also taste the sweetness of the dates and a little bit of coconut, and the walnuts are a really nice touch. These are really, really good. You can kind of change the recipe a little bit to fit how you like things, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Totally awesome. So let me know if you liked this, or if you have any advice or any recipes you'd like me to do, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.